Welcome to the SBI podcast, offering CEOs, sales and marketing leaders ideas to make the number.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is Greg Alexander, CEO and co-founder of SBI, a B2B sales and marketing consulting company dedicated to helping you make your number. This is the weekly SBI podcast series, and today we got a great guest, Vincent Gatti. Vincent is the Vice President of Sales at ITsavvy. If you're not familiar with ITsavvy, let me give you the lowdown on them. ITsavvy is what I call the next-gen value-added reseller. So why do I refer to them as such? Check this out. They have 46 distribution centers. They ship 99% of in-stock items the same day. They carry a staggering 1 million products, and they enable their customers to buy the way they want to buy with a customized e-commerce engine, which provides real-time pricing and availability. Compare that to legacy IT VARs who, when asked for a quote by a customer, respond with, "Let me get back to you." This is why ITsavvy went from a small Midwest regional player to a national leader recently. And recently they were recognized by Inc. magazine as one of the fastest growing companies in the world. Vincent has 25 years of business experience, highlighted by 14 years at CDW, the gorilla in IT distribution. And he got his degree from Michigan State University. Vincent, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Being on.
All right. So today's topic is the development of a sales strategy. So Vincent, when this show airs, it'll be late fall, and many sales leaders will be writing their sales strategies for the upcoming year. And these strategies lay out how the number is going to be made by allocating three specific things: people, time, and money. So I'm going to use SBI's sales strategy development tool to guide our conversation today so we don't wander and we keep this to 30 minutes. For the audience members, if you want to get a copy of this, go to salesbenchmarkindex.com/2016-report, 2016-report, and you can get a copy of our sales strategy development tool. All right, let's jump into it. So the first step is collecting and analyzing market research. This is the first step in our sales strategy development tool. And it's our firm's point of view that working backwards from the needs of the market is the starting point of a best-in-class sales strategy. So Vincent, at ITsavvy, and maybe even prior to that at CDW, think holistically about your entire career here. What type of market research do you collect, and how does it inform the development of your sales strategy?
When we look at the market research, we're looking at what our competitors are doing from both the micro VAR, the very specialized local VAR, to the overall behemoths, and seeing what are some of the areas that we can differentiate ourselves and really be different, because we know that it's not all about the widget. It's about what we do and the relationships we build with those and how we can differentiate from other people's account managers or client executives. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So and you guys, your form of differentiation is what happens after the sale. If I understand correctly, you have a great support structure. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do have a great support structure, and one of our differentiating factors for us from a lot of different people is all of our engineers who are talking to our clients on a regular basis actually have real-world experience. So they're the ones that are not only going to be helping our client executives with the client in pre-sales, but also in post-sales and implementation. So they get really the experts in the field to really help with the nuances to make those solutions work for them.
Okay, great. All right, so your primary focus during the market research stage when developing a sales strategy is understanding the competitors and what they're doing and how you can differentiate. Okay, very good. So let's move on to the second step, which is studying the corporate strategy. And I will tell you that my experience is many sales leaders skip this step, and I think it's a mistake. So let me define what I mean by this. So the CEO has developed a strategy that describes what markets the company is going to compete in, which products it's going to offer, who the company is going to compete with, and how the company is going to win. And sales strategy can't be developed without a detailed understanding of the corporate strategy, for sales strategy needs to be aligned with it, so to speak. So Vincent, how is your sales strategy taking direction from the corporate strategy to drive the allocation of resources?
So when we look at where the corporate strategy is going, and I look at what the allocation of resources are, we're looking for where is the market going overall. And as we spend that time thinking about that and looking at that, we see that cloud, co-location, connectivity are big areas that our clients are going to. And we know that in our business model, it's not only about the widget, but where is that widget going to develop to? We see aligning with where the market is going is very important. And we look at how to do that. We're making sure that we're giving our client executives the knowledge and resources necessary to develop the conversations today to help develop the solutions for tomorrow. Because we realize for us strategically, that type of environment is a longer type of sales cycle, and we need to be really ahead of it. So it's taking the time to lay out that strategy with our client executives to realize where do we want to go and how is that going to position us, not today, but really 6 and 9 and 12 months from now.
You know, it's interesting you bring this up because in your industry with so much change, you mentioned cloud, connectivity, et cetera, it seems like every day there's advancements in IT. Your CEO, the level of difficulty of setting corporate strategy is really high because he almost has to be a futurist, right? He has to predict where things are going. So, not to put you on the spot here, but I'm assuming he's pretty good at that?
He is. Mike does a great job of looking forward. He's actually just featured on CIO magazine for our unified communications practice and being one of the top MS managed service providers in the country. So in doing that, he's setting us up for success for the future.
Yeah. So that's a great example, right? So unified communications is a hot area, right? So what is the CEO's job? The CEO's job is to put the boat over the fish so that when the sales leader drops the lines in the water, he can actually catch some fish. So if you're a sales leader listening to this podcast, let's make sure that you're, speaking to your CEO, providing him as much, real-time feedback from the field as possible so that he can position the boat over the fish. Because if not, you're going to be dropping your line on the water, nothing's going to be biting, you're going to miss your number, and guess who's going to get blamed? You're going to get blamed. So that's why it's important for the sales leader to understand the corporate strategy and vice versa. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. If you're enjoying this interview, you might want to check out the SBI TV program, which is our monthly TV show, and here's some information on it. You are watching SBI TV. This is a monthly web TV show featuring guests just like you, executives trying to grow their revenues. Each month, you can peek behind the scenes and watch your peers discuss their strategies for how they make their numbers. You are not going to want to miss this. Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is Greg Alexander, CEO of SBI, a B2B sales and marketing consulting company dedicated to helping you make your number. Today, I'm joined by Vincent Gatti, who is the head of sales at ITsavvy, which is recognized recently by Inc. magazine as one of the fastest growing companies in America. It's kind of this next-gen value-added reseller. We're talking about our sales strategy development tool, because many of you are planning for the new year right now and you're writing your sales strategies. And so far, we've talked about the first two steps, which is collecting and analyzing market research. And then we got into understanding the corporate strategy as penned by the CEO. Let's jump into the third step, which is the third step in developing a sales strategy, which is understanding the product strategy the company is deploying. And this explains, what the company is going to sell, to who they're going to sell it to, and why it is a better offering than the competition's. So, Vincent, you mentioned earlier that you, in the market research stage, you're studying the competition quite a bit, and you also indicated some areas of product that you're selling, UCC, cloud, connectivity, colo, et cetera. What is ITsavvy's product strategy? And specifically, and this is the area I really want you to focus on, is how is that reflected in your sales strategy? So, for example, do you have salespeople that only sell certain products to certain customers, et cetera?
So here at ITsavvy, we actually have full cycle account managers, client executives, which means they're working with the client from point of entry into our system. Once that lead gets generated down, they're the ones prospecting and then developing that relationship to have a long-term client relationship and becoming, over time, moving up the vendor ladder a trusted advisor status. So with that, we're looking at our clients' overall business strategy. What are they trying to accomplish on a yearly basis, and how do we help fill their needs with the solutions that we're offering? So it's important that our client executives not only know about what the products are, but overall, what is the strategy that the client is trying to do, and then working with our internal resources to get down to the granularity of what that solution would look like. So it's very important for our client executive to have the broad knowledge base so that they can talk about a lot of overall subjects that are going to interest our clients and help them become successful in their own business.
So this is a great example of what we're talking about here today, and I want to compliment you on something that you're doing that's unique that you might not know is unique. So I'm asking the question right now about aligning the sales strategy with the product strategy. And in the intro, I told the audience that ITsavvy carries 1 million products. So it's impossible for a sales rep to understand 1 million products. I mean, give me a break. I mean, it's hard enough to understand 5. So what Vincent has done is he's deployed a specific organizational model known as the full cycle account manager. And he's had his account managers not focus on products, so to speak, but focus on the needs of the customer and identify subject matter experts at various points of the sales cycle inside the company based on what those customers' needs are. And it may sound obvious, and many of you might be saying, duh, right now, but just think about that for a moment, right? So now you can focus all of your efforts on improving the productivity of the salesperson on things like developing skills on understanding the customer's needs, understanding who to turn to inside the company when the customer has this need or that need. That's a great example of ITsavvy's sales strategy being appropriate given what's happening upstream, so to speak, in the product category. So Vincent, did you do that because you're a genius, or did you just stumble into that by accident?
It's something that over the years I've seen the evolution within our industry from the days of the catalog sale and the queues, never stopping the inbound calls, to that eventually goes away. And how do we get deeper into our client base and better understand what they need? You see a lot of that with local VARs that have deep knowledge in X or Y, but may not have it in the broad source of categories. So in developing that strategy, we want to be deep in multiple different product lines and truly be vendor agnostic so that we can look at what's important. Some of our competitors, they only focus on their top 10 manufacturers, which is great, but those top 10 are not going to fit everybody's needs. Yeah. And so we have the engineering resources where they look at not only what the behemoths are, the Cisco, the EMC, but what are the up-and-comers? What are they doing? And what are our clients also looking at so that we can offer cutting-edge technology and solutions that maybe other people aren't into or don't have the capital to invest into engineers to do that type of work.
Yeah. As I'm listening to you, I'm not surprised at this recent success that you've had. I mean, there's another example of your strategies being in alignment. So I started this conversation off by asking about market research, and you told me about what it is that you were doing there. You just shared another aspect of that, which is you're being vendor agnostic. Now, why is that? Well, someone in your company has probably spoken to enough of your customers and prospects, and those customers and prospects have voiced to you that being vendor agnostic is what they want. So your entire strategy, from corporate to product to marketing to sales to post-sales support, et cetera, is all about being vendor agnostic and paying attention to these emerging technology companies. And your competitors aren't doing that. And as a result, you're winning and they're losing. So another great example of an effective sales strategy being linked to all the other corporate strategies. All right. Let's jump into the fourth step of SBI's sales strategy development process, which is aligning with the marketing strategy developed by the CMO. Now, I will tell you, this is an area that lots of sales leaders struggle with. In this step, the sales leader spends time with the marketing team to understand how the marketing budget is going to be spent to drive demand for the company's products and services. And without understanding how marketing is attracting prospects, a sales strategy cannot be developed correctly. So the days of pointing the finger at the CMO and saying, your leads stink or you're an empty suit, they got to end, because the marketing team has to be successful, or you as a sales leader are going to be, dealing with a pipeline that's empty. So Vincent, what is ITsavvy's marketing strategy, and how has that impacted your sales strategy?
So I've been here at ITsavvy for 6 months, and what has been great is working with marketing. Previously, as a consultant, I saw a lot of disconnect between marketing and sales, where we could talk to the marketing department and talk to the sales department, and they're delivering two different messages. And with Steve Thero, and working with him, it is about what can we do together? How are we going to move this certain service? So how are we going to move managed print, right? Savvy print into our clients to make them know about what does that look like from a lead perspective, from a nurturing perspective, what should our client executives know, and most importantly, having the right communication between marketing and sales. So often, I've seen organizations where marketing puts out information but never tells the account manager anything about it, and they get a phone call and they're like, what are you talking about, Mr. Client? And the front line looks stupid, so you lose that lack of trust. Here at ITsavvy, we're making sure that our client executives know what's coming out. We get their input, because you know what, we're not perfect, and we also know that clients' needs might be different a little bit from what marketing is looking at. So working together, we're able to have better communication, have a better understanding of the lead nurturing process, and then what are the expectations both from marketing and then delivering that down to the client executive account manager, that they can align and make sure that we all look like we're on the same page.
Yeah. A connection point between sales and marketing is usually sales enablement, which is making the sales team productive by getting them the right tools and information that they need at the moment of truth when they're actually making a sales call. In your environment, is sales enablement a responsibility of marketing or a responsibility of sales?
Sales enablement, it goes to both. I believe it's more of a sales function. As the VP and talking to our frontline managers, our frontline client executives, they're going to be able to give better input on what they need on a day-to-day basis to help enable them through the process, through their clients, and for management, what reporting do I need to make sure that we're all in alignment and getting the right information.
Okay. So the training of the sales team, whether it's product training or sales training, skills training, process training, technology training, whatever it is, so that sits with the sales team, not the marketing team?
Correct.
Okay, interesting. I'm seeing that. I'm asking that question right now because I'm trying to do a little informal study here. I'm seeing the split about 50-50, so that's interesting. All right, we're going to take another quick short break. This sales strategy development process is discussed in depth in the recent edition of the SBI magazine, which I'm holding up here for the audience. If you're not reading the SBI magazine, you should, because we profile people like Vincent, and they share their best practices and how they're making the number. So if you want to get a copy of that, here's how to do it.
Making your number is hard. Your problems are complex. Complex problems need complex solutions. Introducing the SBI magazine. Read in-depth stories written by award-winning journalists about how your peers have overcome their problems to make the numbers. When you need more than a tweet, social post, or blog article, turn to the SBI magazine. Go to salesbenchmarkindex.com to subscribe.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is Greg Alexander, CEO of SBI. This is the weekly SBI podcast series. Today I'm on the phone with Vincent Gatti of ITsavvy. He leads the sales team over there. And up to this point in the conversation, we've been reviewing the sales strategy development process that we recommend that you use. when you're in your annual planning process for the upcoming year, which many of you are in right now. And so far, we've walked through the first four steps, and we're about to jump into step number 5. So let's proceed with the 5th step in the sales strategy development process, which is an understanding of the talent strategy developed by the HR team. The sales team is dependent on HR's ability to attract, hire, onboard, develop, and promote, as well as retain A-player sales talent, sales managers, sales directors, etc. There's probably no other function inside of a company that's more dependent on talent than sales, because that's how we communicate with our customers, through people, especially at ITsavvy, where they deploy this full cycle account management process where the account manager is basically the quarterback of the account and holds the company's future and revenue growth in their hands. So Vincent, what is ITsavvy's talent strategy, and how has that impacted your sales strategy?
So when we look at our talent strategy right now, we're on a large hiring movement and building that organically. So one of the things that my main role was in coming here, one of the key responsibilities, developing a onboarding process we call SavvyU, so that we can now take net new people, so from college, their first job, or other areas, and put them through our process and teach them from scratch. So from not only a internal process, but also the technology and the sales process that we want them to follow. So in working with John Skeffington, who's my head of recruiting, what does that talent look like? We work on the different characteristics or traits that we want. We're also looking at, again, enablement to use third-party personality tools. There's a few good ones out there we're evaluating now, so that we can actually look at not the gut, but also the data that belongs with it.
Yeah, interesting. In 2008, I wrote a book called Top Grading for Sales, which I'm holding in my hands right here. And the subtitle of it is World-Class Methods to Interview, Hire, and Coach Top Sales Representatives. And I had the pleasure of co-authoring this book with Dr. Brad Smart, who was the inventor of the terminology A player, B player, C player, and kind of pioneered behavioral interviewing, competency-based assessments into corporate America about 40 years ago. And it's such a key thing. Our belief is that making the number consistently is a 50-50 equation. So what do I mean? So 50% the talent level of the organization, and 50% the performance conditions upon which you place that talent. We've seen several times where you could put A players into C player conditions and basically ruin them overnight. Take them from hero to GOAT in like a week. And we've seen vice versa, where you take C players and drop them into A player conditions, and they blow opportunity. They land in a great territory with lots of opportunity, but they can't close it. So it's a combination of these two things, and that's why the connection point between sales and HR is so critical, because especially in a fast-growing company like yours, where it sounds like you're ramping hiring rather rapidly, it's impossible for you to run the recruiting process yourself as a sales leader. I mean, you've got a number to make, so you have to have a capable partner in HR. So it sounds like you've got one there, and you're working well together. Is it a similar communication cadence with HR as it is the way you described your relationship with marketing?
It is. HR is the lifeblood of my business, and where the only way to hit the number is to make sure that I'm communicating on a regular basis with HR on what my needs and expectations are, so they can find the right talent for the right position. Mm-hmm. And having that, him and I, we talk probably at least once a week on where we are. What is the recruiting? How does it look? What does the pipeline look like? How's the interview process going? Where are we in the next stages? Are we going to hit the class size that we've allocated budget and money for? And then also working with HR and looking back at what are our current hires doing? What could we have done differently? Was that the right talent to hire at the time? So making sure that we're not only looking forward, but looking also backward and taking the right statistics to better improve our process.
Yeah, just a great example. You mentioned you meet with the HR leader once a week. I have some clients, some sales leader clients of mine whose names will remain anonymous. They don't meet with their HR leader but once a year. So that type of engagement with the HR leader is just a great example of strategic alignment, making sure the sales strategy, HR strategy, talent strategy are aligned. and tracking metrics, things like class sizes, and looking back in history and saying, hey, our assumptions on our hiring profile before were X, Y, and Z. We hired 25 people based on that profile. How are they doing, relative to the rest of the population? Are they overproducing? Are they in line? Are they underproducing? And as a result of that, do we need to tweak the hiring profile? So just a great example there, Vincent, of you and your HR leader being in sync. And again, another example of why you guys are doing so well. All right, one more quick break, I promise. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about wrapping this up and giving you an action plan. But we've got some first-time listeners today who might also want to subscribe to SBI's blog. We publish our blog every single day, 365 days a year. You can read it off your smart mobile device in less than 5 minutes every single day. So if you want information on the blog, here's how to get it.
Each day, you receive hundreds of emails, tons of text messages, countless telephone calls, and sit in too many meetings. How do you find ideas to make the number with all this noise? The SBI blog filters all this nonsense for you and presents only first-rate ideas to make the number. Simplify your life. Subscribe to one blog and read the best content. Go to salesbenchmarkindex.com and subscribe today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Greg Alexander, CEO of SBI, a B2B sales and marketing consulting company dedicated to helping you make your number. Today, I'm on the phone with a superstar sales leader, Vincent Gatti, who is leading the sales efforts at ITsavvy, which is one of the fastest growing companies in North America. And they're this next generation value-added reseller who has recently gone from a regional player to a national player and is gobbling up market share as we speak. Vincent, let's wrap this up in a nice, neat action plan for our listeners. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, which I've done several times today, and you've responded well, so you think quickly on your feet.
Thank you.
I want you to speak directly to the audience and tell them, based on our conversation today, what are the 2 or 3 things they should do when they're writing a sales strategy for 2016?
When sales leaders are writing a strategy for 2016, getting marketing's alignment and input to make sure that what you're trying to accomplish is the same thing what they're trying to accomplish, and that you can work together to really 2 or 3 times increase not only the productivity of what is happening, but also the funnel of what is happening, and that you get the buy-in from the front line with that. I think also if you're hiring, looking at how you're interacting with HR, do you know what they're doing, why they're doing it? Do you know the schedule that they're doing it? And being actively involved and not just leaving it up to them, oh, HR knows what we want, so let's go. Without that clear communication of this is what we want and how to do it, then there could be no misunderstanding. And you're all driving to hit the number on a regular basis, no matter what positions that you're trying to fill.
Mm-hmm. All right, great advice. If you think about this as kind of a supply chain, right, and links in the supply chain, right? So you've got your market research that links to your corporate strategy, that links to your product strategy, that links to your marketing strategy, to your sales strategy, to HR strategy. And what Vincent just shared with us is that, he's the sales leader, so he's looking to the left and to the right. To the left, he's finding the marketing strategy, and he's making sure that the marketing leader and he are aligned. And then to the right, he's looking at the HR strategy and making sure that they're aligned. And if they are, his chances and his team's chances of hitting what I can assume are very aggressive growth targets go up exponentially. So it's great advice. Let me offer my 2 cents. I suggest the listeners do 2 things. So first, I would download SBI's Sales Strategy Development Tool, which can be found inside this year's annual research report titled How to Make Your Number in 2016, and I'm holding up a copy of that right now. This is the 9th year that we've produced this. It's a killer report, and the sales strategy development process that we just walked through with Vincent is in that report. If you want to get a copy of it, go to www.salesbenchmarkindex.com/2016-report. www.salesbenchmarkindex/2016-report. All right, the second thing that I would do is I would schedule a sales strategy development workshop with one of our experts. This will help you apply what you learn in the research report specifically to your business. This is where it goes from theory to practical application. And you can schedule your workshop at salesbenchmarkindex.com/2016-workshop. salesbenchmarkindex.com/2016-workshop. And these two actions are going to increase your chances of making the number next year, that's what we're all about. Vincent, on behalf of our audience, you dropped some serious wisdom on us today, and I'm really pleased that we had a chance to speak. You're leading in so many ways, and you're nimble and fast, and it's no doubt that you guys are going to continue to have lots of success. So thanks a bunch for being on the show.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure to join you. And for those out there, if you have not subscribed to the SBI blog and their magazine, or watched their the TV or the podcasts, I encourage you to do so. Through the last few years and following them, they've helped me do a lot of strategy. There's a lot of great content helping me become a better sales leader within there.
Awesome. And to the audience, I swear I did not ask him to do that, but I'm going to send him a nice little thank you gift for that endorsement. But thanks a bunch. And listen, speaking to the audience, we can't do this without you guys. Our audience is growing rapidly every day. We have thousands of people listening to this podcast, so I want to thank you for tuning in. Feel free to share it with your friends, and I wish you the best of luck as you try to make your number.
This has been the SBI Podcast. For more information on SBI services, case studies, the SBI team and how we work, or to subscribe to our other offerings, please visit us at salesbenchmarkindex.com.